This is Heidi Small. You are listening to Beyond the Plate, where we go behind the scenes and peel back a layer, getting an all-access pass into Montreal's hot, tempestuous kitchens, talking with our city's greatest chefs. Welcome, everybody, to the Beyond the Plate podcast edition. We will go monthly into the minds of Montreal chefs, all taking place at my number one sponsor, Sub-Zero Wolf Cove Test Kitchen. To my left, I have rockstar chef Danny St Pierre. Welcome.
Hello. Hey
Danny, everyone asks me what's my process, and the number one thing I tell every chef before I sit down and interview them is that I do no research. I wait patiently like a little kid because I want to unwrap you like a beautiful gift and learn all about your life story and what I have coined the kitchen climb. So, I want you to tell me your first memory growing up of being around food and the kind of impression it made on you.
The first memory, I come from a very cosmopolitan family, you know. I have a Polish grandmother. My grandpa, which was Francophone, went at the beginning of the 40s in Northern Ontario, so he came back in Anglophone. All his children, like all his daughters married. I have a Neapolitan uncle. I have a Bolivian Jewish uncle. So our house was like the United Nations, and everybody was surrounded by food, by food traditions from the other families, from the Polish background my grandma has. So the first memory I have is me kicking my snowy boots in the porch, running to the kitchen, smelling this beautiful pork roast with like way too much cloves of garlic pricked in, and eating marrow bone with my grandma when she was making soup and having too much salt on it. You know, just fun, hearty, pleasurable, old school food.
So food was part of your childhood growing up.
You can say that again.
Okay, so now explain to me, where does the idea come to you? At what age where you say, I want to be a chef, I want to follow in the culinary trade? Do you go to culinary school? Walk me through how it all started.
Well, you know, we're no spring chicken anymore. I'm 42 years old, so when I decided to go to culinary school, it wasn't really a trendy choice.
Okay.
You know, I was with ex-convicts, teenage mothers, and dropouts.
How old are you, though?
I'm 17 years old.
Okay.
I'm a witty little shit, not knowing anything about the restaurant business because, you know, we're really blue collar at home. I never went before going to culinary school to a proper French restaurants with penguins serving you and the white cloth and this and so on and so forth. So for me, it was like I had this calling. I wanted to do it. I felt it since the beginning because I was so enjoying the taste of the beautiful food my grandmother was cooking, and my whole family. I started to cook super young. Let's say taking recipes from Paul Martin, and taking the 5 Rose cookbook of my mother and doing recipes and doing Caesar salad, and you know, cooking for my dates when I was like 15, 16 years old when my parents were shagging off the house. And, oh, I'm gonna cook you something, you know, and. Yeah, that's it. I had good grades at school. I could have been whatever I wanted, but this is what I really wanted. So I went to École Hôtelière de Laval, and then I went to ITHQ, and then I carried on with a culinary business profile, and I climbed up the ladder step by step to become a chef today.
So how old were you when you graduated culinary school?
I was, well, you know, it's not really long. This is a trade, like being a plumber, you know, it's like 1,000 hours, and then you learn how to dress up with the whites and the little necktie and the little hat and stuff, which you never see again, you know. And then you go and work. And for us, let's say our college, our university is choosing the right masters. So I was set on a path, and I was lucky enough to work at Teagan to a certain point. I went to l'ITHQ and tutored under a great chef, old school French guy from Burgundy called Jean-Paul Grappe. I went to train in France, then I came back, and I carried on to become a chef at 24 years old, a place in Laval called Derrière les Fagots, which was like un beau restaurant, like you know, like a proper old school French place with a modern flair. Won all kinds of sick awards. For a young pup like me, this was something that was quite quite something.
Okay.
And then it opened all kinds of fun doors for me to live the life I'm living right now. So it's
So you leave that restaurant, and then what happens?
And then, well, you know what? Even though there's a full restaurant and you do your thing and you work for an owner, you know, you're not in your business. So at a certain point, I've always been an entrepreneur. You know, even in high school, I was like selling cigarettes by the unit or peddling clothes, you know, like try to make a fast buck. So I have the knack for money. So I started to do those little catering joints. You know, I was working 6 days a week, so I had a day off. So I worked it as a caterer.
Okay.
And I was doing, let's say in a night of catering, I was doing the pay. I was doing like in 2 weeks being the chef of somebody else, winning awards, wearing the whites, doing the pictures. You know, so somebody else was pocketing the money I was making the business make, even though I was working a team and surrounded. It's not all about me, but you know, the signature of a good restaurant is the way the chef handles his the image of the place. You know, it's a big component, the culinary identity.
Okay.
So I decided to do my own thing. So I started catering. So with my ex-wife. In our apartment in Centre Sud, we decided to open a clandestine restaurant. So we were living on 2 stories.
Okay.
And the downstairs was like a production unit. We're doing caterings, and it started with, let's say, the reservation book of the old resto. You know, doing 10s, doing 20s at home, putting stuff in my car, going there, dressing up, pretending we were big, even though we were whippersnappers. You know, you can laugh.
Living out of an apartment.
An apartment, like a rent in Centre Sud with crack whores and popular soup. You know, how do you say that? Like
a
crack
soup
whores?
kitchen?
Yeah, like a soup kitchen in
Yes.
front of them. And then we started to have like big events. So I had like federal ministers and the editor of a major newspaper. So there was like those Porsches and those Bentleys in front of my house with ladies with $20,000 minks on them. With the crack whores, like it was super touristic, you know.
Wow.
And they were coming in our apartment, and it was clean and quite an adventure. So we made enough money to open a restaurant in Sherbrooke. So we left Montreal for Sherbrooke.
Hold on, sorry, just 1 second. Just to get this.
What did you like, the Ming, the crack
I'm
whore,
just trying
or
to
the Bentley?
understand. You and your wife at the time are living in a 2-story apartment, let's say, and you open up like an inside catering type of kitchen whereby then you are then making the food and then serving it upstairs at the table.
No, we were serving it in our unit. It's like a table d'hôte type of thing, you know, like table champêtre, but in the city. Okay. So we were doing this and then doing all kinds of events, and then at a certain point we were doing, let's say, 20, 50, 100, 300. Try to fit 300 people in a Subaru Outback.
Oh my God.
So we started renting trucks. We started to do logistics. We learned the trade the hard way, but then we got organized and then we were ripe enough to open a business. So instead of opening a restaurant in the city to be a small fish in the sea, well, we flipped the script and we decided to be a big fish in a pond.
So you went to Sherbrooke, Quebec.
We went to Sherbrooke. The market was ripe. Nobody was doing the type of food we were trying to do, which was like bistro, like the inbred child of l'Express and le pied de cochon, you know? Doing
if they had a baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if restaurants were shagging, that would be the child.
Really?
And then we opened this beautiful, huge, churning place called Auguste.
Okay.
From 2008 to 2015, I was part owner there, and then we parted ways. And I came back to the city, came back home.
You parted ways with your wife at the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, no more my wife.
Okay, so she stayed in Sherbrooke
like
and you came back to Montreal.
Yeah, I sold my shares. They're still doing really well.
I was just going to ask, is it still open right now?
Yeah, it's still thriving. It's a good place. Like, we had good thing going on, and I'm super happy for her. And then I came back to the city and carried on my career. You know, I was doing a lot of TV also.
So
TV,
tell me,
radio,
how do you
newspaper.
get onto TV, radio, newspaper? You have an award-winning cookbook. Like, how did that all snowball? You leave Sherbrooke, Quebec, you divorce your wife, you come back to Montreal, and then what? You have to be specific in telling me the trajectory.
Follow me.
Okay, go.
So I always did the media, you know. It's funny because when you work in this trade, and especially us at my age, it's like the beginning of media chefs, star chefs.
Okay.
It's like the eclosion of the Food Network. You see Emeril Lagasse, you see Jamie Oliver, you see all kinds of guys and girls doing their thing on TV, and then the Quebec media caught up. Because the Quebec media is quite a special universe, you know. We build our own stars. We have a very, very faithful and devoted and super supportive scene for actors, a music industry, and the culinary cultural movement caught on. And I was fortunate enough to have good reviews by then. I was fortunate enough to be invited at great shows like À la Distasio, which José Distasio is like an icon of the food scene in Montreal and Quebec in general. And then, well, you get attention, you do more, you get attention, your business goes well. And then at a certain point, I decided to make a career path out of it.
Okay.
As a business move,
okay.
As a defensive move to make sure my restaurants were full and that we get enough attention instead of buying media. I was making media.
Okay. So do you come back and then have a restaurant in Montreal now that you've come back from Sherbrooke, Quebec?
Well, while I decided to come back to Montreal, I started a daily TV show on the CBC, on the French network of CBC called Qu'est-ce qu'on mange pour souper? I was doing a regular radio show in the morning, like the morning show at CBC also. I was writing columns in La Presse. I was doing all kinds of other type of moonlighting. I wasn't a fireman though. No, I wasn't that much in shape yet. And that's it. And I decided to buy a building on Park Avenue and to open a small little place called Petite Maison. So instead of, I was kind of tired to have this huge space, you know, when you have a big bustling space. We're doing almost 500 covers a day. 500, 600 on the big days, you know, big digits, huge teams, churning food, very corporate, fun, big party, a hell of a party. But you know, it's a lot to handle. And I had this secret, stupid dream to become a chef again. You know, like to go back behind the stove and stir every pot that could be stirred. You know, go at the market and this is a beautiful carrot, how romantic. But I was foolish enough to think it would be possible, and being successful before, I kind of forgot to add on the numbers that with less volume you have less resources. So I became the anti-business. So it became a trap, something that caught me in, and then I didn't have time to do media anymore. Didn't have time to think of other things, passing the broom, cutting off on salaries, and then after a point I was like, okay, I'm brain dead. I'm depressed. I hate my fucking life. And what are we gonna do? I was smart enough to buy the building. I sold the building, and then the Phoenix caught on fire again. Pow! I'm back.
Okay, but you know I'm gonna have you just go back for anybody who is just tuning in right now. Chef Danny St Pierre, Montreal rock star in the French community, the English community, Beyond the Plate podcast edition. We are so fortunate to be here and to hear about Danny's kitchen climb, I call it. Chef Danny St Pierre. So you leave Sherbrooke, Quebec, you come back to Montreal. It's almost like you went huge to go back to the basics, become small again, more attached to your food, the passion and what brought you there in the first place. But in the end, it ends up biting you in the ass because it is like taking you away from almost the media empire you were building around you.
Well, it was like a fun little slump because, you know, sometimes when everything goes well, you don't learn anything. You're just carried on by a big, huge wave. And it was an introspective moment to actually get slapped in the face.
Absolutely.
And say, okay, what is my point of view now? Because when you're running on pilot and everything goes well, it goes well, and you can carry on your life like that. But in our industry, you can't sit on your ass and just expect the money to drop there. You know, you have to work for it. You have to provide another point of view. You have to bring something to the table. So, and also, when I opened this place, I decided to go sober also. Stop drinking.
Tell me about that. How is it that the restaurant dark side, you know, plays a role in that you're in this, like you say, there's like a tidal wave almost of.
Well, you know, it's funny because being sober in the restaurant industry, it was an eye-opening moment because I understood this wasn't an industry for me anymore. Like, not because it's dark. Hey, it was the funnest years of my life. Can you imagine? No more lineups, cutting files, having a reservation everywhere you want, having friends all around, eating caviar by the handful, just for the fuck of it, drinking the best wine in the world, having money to spend, This is a huge party, and I don't regret a single minute of it. But you know what? A family, happily coupled, another part of your life to build, it has to stop at a certain point. So I decided to just take a break. And then when I woke up from this little haze, life was hard. Like not being sober, but just living this crazy restaurant life on a dry regime. It's harsh, you know? And it wasn't as fun as I thought it would be. So I decided to turn my career around. Now I'm not a bad strategic mind. I know my trade inside out. I know how to make money. I know how to solve problems. So I started this little consulting firm. And it caught on. And it brought me towards all kinds of new endeavors. To work as a partner in a great food hall we just opened called Le Central as an investor. I also invested and work as a culinary director at a place called Maillard, which is a new food tech startup that we're doing home cooked meals for mass distribution and home replacement meals, and also business solutions for the employment crisis we have in the restaurant industry. You know, to have quality, standardized food that is ready to go for operators that are stuck in the same mess I was before.
Got it.
You know? And then it caught on also to bigger operations. I was fortunate enough to meet the people at Bernard et Fils Traiteur to build my own catering line in their structure. Okay. So, you know, because in our industry, it's funny. You can have the dream of owning your thing because you want to control, and you want to have the freedom to express your cooking through a medium you own. But then when you add on all the overhead and the charges you have, what's gonna stay? What's gonna be your margins? And they're thinning out year after year. So I decided to look at it as a seller's standpoint, and it's much more interesting. So I have the means to do everything I want. I control my agenda. I control the business I bring in. I can mentor. I can take care of people. I can share my experience. A great organization. So my day, and you followed me through my day. Huh?
I did follow you, and it was quite a day.
It starts early, and you know, nothing good's gonna happen when the sun goes down. So I start before the sun goes up.
Very good, wise words.
Tuk, 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 tuk.
Yes.
Carries on. Hey, Anna, ça va? Hello, it's my friend. My friend's there.
Wise words.
Yeah. So I decided to sketch it. So I work my ass off 5 days a week. I cook supper each and every night, but not tonight. Sorry, hon. I'm here cooking for other people.
So you have, since you came back, you got sober, you met a woman, you got married again, and you have a family and a child.
Yeah, I have a beautiful 12-year-old daughter called Margot. I have another cute one called Jeanne, 4 years old. Okay. Marie-Hélène, my spouse. We live in the Myland. We have a very cool life. Like, you know, living by foot, taking the time. We work hard when we work. She works in the television industry. And she's a journalist, and she's smart as a whip. I found my wife, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the life we live. It's fun to have somebody that's not in the business also. You know, before I was always with people in the business. And it's fun to stick your nose out of it and see, okay, this is the way people live. You know?
So when you see the up-and-coming chefs now and you kind of stand back and look at what's coming up, what are your thoughts? Do you think, oh, you don't even know what you're getting yourself into? Or do you still have the love and the passion for food and being in the kitchen and creating? Like, is there still that desire to go back to the kitchen on the...
It's numerous things, because when I look at the up-and-coming crowd, I understood that it's a young person's game. You know, like gangs that are opening restaurants, building a scene, being in it, enjoying being in this party. And it has it's like if you're turning around a sablier, how do you say this? You know, like a...
The sands of time, the hourglass.
Merci. Especially nowadays when you have social media and institutions are dying out and people are just attracted by the newest thing.
Yeah.
You know, our business is more like it's a cultural industry now. It's like a movie. You know, if you're gonna go and see a movie twice at the theater, it must be a very good movie. So for most of the people now, they go at a place, they try it out, And if it's something that's very specific, let's say this is a chicken store, this is a Chinese store, this is a pizza place, you're gonna come back because you're used to that. You know, you're looking for the best chicken, the best pizza. But if you're doing, let's say, an artistic installation like the Joe Beefs or the Pied de Cochon of this world, well, it's a very big commitment. And you have to be on the top of your game, and those people are world level. But if you're running a bistro, you know, even though you're doing well, you're cooking well, you're selling something at a fair price, if you're not knocking it out of the park, well, you're in trouble. Le sablier est retourné, madame.
Okay.
And the lifespan of a restaurant, most of the time, is not even 3 years old.
So if you can go back in time and do it all over again, would you?
Of course.
You would do it all over again?
Yeah, because you know what? This kick in the nuts, it pretends, pardon my French,
Do you mean the kick in the balls?
The balls? Yeah, the balls.
Yes.
Yeah, the polopette.
Yes.
No, la palotte.
Yes, I just want to be sure
Polpette, palotte,
that I got the translation.
That
yes.
Yeah, because some people are allergic to nuts, huh? You have to be careful.
Yes, deadly.
Yeah, that's what they say. So this little kick there reminds me that if I want to open another place or I want to play chef again, I'm going to think hard and long before losing sweat, blood, and money over this silly idea of playing restaurant.
And how do you stay positive, curious, and passionate?
I'm doing things like that.
I know, but where does it come from? Who are your role models? Who influenced you? Who do you look up to and get your inspiration? And
well, I'm fortunate enough to have a lot of friends that are the age of my parents. So I have a lot of mentors. I was put on good roads.
Okay.
You know, I had the privilege to hang out with the Cabane family of Pâtisserie de Gascogne, which was an institution for the past more than 50 years.
Okay.
And that closed more than a year ago.
Okay.
I was very close to the son, Martin, and Olivier, les deux fils. Jean-Michel, the second generation, but the first generation also, Francis and Lucie Cabane. And I was in this chef phase, you know, of doing things with tweezers and cooking vegetables at the dessert station and being a cocky little shit, imposing my food on people, not giving a damn of what they were thinking, cooking for my peers and not for my customers, cooking with other people's money and not mine. And at a certain point, and this was a tipping point, I started to work as a consultant for them to do like just a line of sandwiches. And Jean-Michel, which is like a super important influence on me, told me, listen, you've got talent, but you got to get your shit together. You have to focus. And look at this. This is classical. This is well made. This is the way you turn an artisan idea into an industrial process or semi-industrial. And this man was a visionary, you know, started getting machines into the production. And instead of doing pâte à choux one by one, having conveyors, tuk, 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 not neglecting the quality of the product, but just specifying and making ultra efficiency on the process. And this was a really big tipping point for me. And then when I started to handle my own food and my own money at Auguste at the beginning, this stayed with me. This is a huge influence. And then all to look at this industry from a business standpoint and to put emotions aside or impulsions and to do a business plan before doing a crazy idea. This is what I got.
Stay organized.
I have another friend also. His name is Claude Parent, and it's an acquaintance I met in Sherbrooke. Brilliant guy, MBA, expert in logistics, in industrial context also. So I was fortunate enough to have way too many conversations with my friend about visiting organizations to see, let's say, the beginning to the end of the lifespan of a chicken. From the truck coming in until it gets out in a package to go at Costco, you know? And this changes your way of cooking. This changes your way of seeing, let's say, how many guys do you need to cook the plate? Do you need 2 guys? Do you need 6 guys? Do you need a $200,000 inventory to make it happen? Are you reacting to what the people need? Are you having a too big of a menu? No, this is a make or break thing. It's not romantic, but
I think it takes
runs.
balls of steel. Anybody who's in the kitchen, and I mean, I was invited to a restaurant and they gave me one little thing to do. They told me to zest a lemon. And after 5 minutes, I was like, oh, I can't do this anymore. My wrist is hurting. I mean, to think about what you chefs do, what you undertake, how you stand in that kitchen on your feet and go hour after hour doing every single job. I mean, it is mind-blowing to me how you all do it. I think it takes an exceptional human being, focus, the passion, the dedication. I can't say enough about meeting you and learning about all of that, because you're so much more than a chef. You're a restaurateur, you're a visionary, you're an entrepreneur. You have to wear all of these hats and stay passionate about food. I think it's extraordinary. And I just wanted to say thank you so much. This went so beyond the plate, and now we're not done.
We're done, huh?
We're not done. We just have to mosey on over here because we have this live audience that I have brought to the test kitchen at Sub-Zero Wolf. They're hungry. I want to cook with you, so let's get up and let's do this. But don't ask me to zest a lemon. I get no zesting.
You better be ready.
All right.
Okay.
And while we're here, Danny St Pierre, Chefy Chef.
Chef.
If you women want to ask Danny any questions, I really encourage you to ask him some hard-hitting Barbara Walters, make him cry, squeeze those balls of steel, and ask him something crazy. Because if you don't, I will.
Okay.
All right. So let's open up the floor to somebody who has a question for Chef Danny St Pierre.
Allô, Danny?
Allô!
Alors, merci, Heidi, bravo.
Oh, merci.
Comment ça va?
So, you mentioned you stopped drinking. How hard was that?
It's not hard at all.
Really?
I was getting fat. And it was such an easy... I shrunk. Then I had to buy new clothes. And no, it wasn't hard because, you know, zero is a fun number, you know its boundaries. And I was losing my focus. And it started not because I was a degenerate or anything like that, but it was just like, it was getting in the way of being functional, and I was craving this 5 o'clock bottle of Chablis. And then it became the 4 o'clock thing, and then friends at the resto, and after a while you say, oh, it's been 10 years I wasn't sober a day. So I broke the beet, did a month, did 2 months, I'm super stubborn, so yeah, it works for me. And then it carried on like a month, 2 months, 3 months, and then after a while, a year. Now I'm getting hey, you know what? Today is my 4th year. Today is the... Non, arrêtez, c'est niaiseux, là, mais ça fait 4 ans aujourd'hui, hein? C'est drôle. J'avais même pas pensé, c'est étonnant. Qu'est-ce que tu veux faire? Drama.
So what's your poison then?
Sugar. Sugar, midgets. Non, on n'a plus le droit de dire ça. N'importe quoi.
But I have a question in line with that one.
Yeah.
Did you find...
On est pris avec les midgets, là.
Did you find that everybody around you changed when you stopped drinking?
Yeah, well, it was a big clearing moment because...
You're not party chef Danny St Pierre now. You're like, what happened to your social circle?
Well, it cleaned up a bit of all this mess of people just wanting to get sloshed, which was great, but... You know, it's not as fun, and you have to have real conversations also after a while. It's long, or let's say spending 4 hours at the table is something I don't do anymore. Like being at a restaurant and, or let's say having a lunch that doesn't end. I can't get it. Like I get the itch. I have to go to work. I have to do something else. Mm-hmm. So that's it. This is what changed. So before, it took about 1.5 years, 2 years before I started to have fun again, laugh.
Right.
Be pleasant. Be a good husband.
Yeah, in a healthy, present way.
I couldn't conceive, let's say, traveling or doing stuff like that, and then whoop, it was okay.
So you slowly add things in your life that you would typically have used alcohol as part of it to feel, okay, I'm ready for this, I'm ready for that, and you would just slowly rebuild?
No, but you know, drinking was just super fun. Like indulging. You know, it's like you're having fun. It's just fun. It's not like, oh, I have a problem. And no, it's just I really enjoyed being sloshed with my friends and drinking expensive Burgundy wine. You know, it was fun. But, you know, everything has to end. Maybe I'll go back someday, but for now, I really enjoy the fact that I'm super focused, never hungover, sharp as a whip. I can drive and not fear to be stopped by the cops and lose my permit, or, you know? That's great. That's very power circle, huh?
Yes.
Not getting arrested by cops.
When was the last time you cried?
You know, I did a lot of onions yesterday, so last time I don't really cry. I'm not a crier.
No?
I don't. Sometimes before, let's say with the restaurant not going well, I would cry of rage or just lose my shit, alone, being disappointed. But then I just regrouped, and no, it's not about. It's fun to indulge in this self-loathing, but after a while, you just have to fight back, and that's the thing I prefer.
What kind of role did your parents play in your life?
Well, they provided well. I had a good home, good education, you know, for the means that we had. But yeah, that's it.
Where are your parents now?
Well, they're doing their own thing, and I'm doing my own thing. Next subject.
Siblings.
Siblings. I have a great sister. She has great kids, the same age of my kids.
Oh.
I have a well. She had her firstborn Julien when she was super young.
Okay.
So I was the godfather of now a 20-year-old kid. Can you imagine? That's crazy. And Maya Rose, and Clément, they're 12 and 11. My daughter Margot is 12, so they get along super well. It's fun. We have a great family. That's amazing. Endives.
Beautiful.
Like endives?
I
Hey,
do.
you like to work, you, huh?
I mean, I like to stand here and look pretty too, but...
Hey, I have something for you,
okay, what are
darling.
we making? What are
Okay, we're gonna make an endive salad. I want to showcase vegetables because I like them and they're cost effective. Huh? No,
Okay.
bankers, that's fun. Finance, making money. No, the vegetables are expensive, but you know, $14 an endive. I like it. We should grate some cheese inside.
Okay,
You know,
yes.
let's say you take like half of this,
Yes.
and you grate the living hell out of it. And
Deal.
in the meantime, I'm gonna do some onions.
Okay.
I have the knack of making good salads. I like salads. Salads are fun.
Are you going to cry when you do those onions?
No, I'm not gonna cry because they're red onions. It's like okay.
Yeah?
Red onions are good. I like to chop them fine. You know, most of the time when you do French cooking, you use shallots. You know, French échalotes françaises. But I like the red onions. They have this Mexican crazy fun about them. You know, it's full of water. It's kind of sweet, and you can do it well. And then this is onion porn.
Oh,
You know?
yes.
Yeah, onion porn.
Yes.
Yeah.
If there are any young under 18 viewers, this would be time to shut off your...
Under 18, most of them encountered the porn at probably 11 years old, so I guess we're okay.
We're okay.
And for the toddlers listening, listen to something else. Onions aren't cool.
So
Be
what
careful.
happens if you're in culinary school and you can't use a knife? Like, are you done if you can't cut?
Well, you don't make the cut, that's for sure.
Literally
You know
and
that there's only 3% of the actually schooled workforce that stays in the industry. So let's say you have 20 kids.
Yeah.
You won't expect much out of them. You know, most of the time when there's culinary school, it's to keep their budgets, because the way our governments are handling the shortage of staff is by. Are you okay?
Yep. I
Do you
just
need-
keep
do you need-
getting
do you
this,
need a
like...
do you need a Gatorade or something?
I just don't know why I get these, like, remedial jobs that are just so
Yeah,
difficult.
but you won't get hurt.
All right, fine. So
Okay.
continue. So do you... if you-
Even though we do a lot of formation of the workforce, well, the conditions that we give them, we provide them with the budgets that we have, are not attractive. So we have the same thing with teachers to a certain extent. Stop it.
we're good?
Yeah, it's enough.
Phew.
Thank you. Would you had a good dollop of oil in there? Let's see.
Oh, yeah, that I can do. Yeah, yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yes.
And then you could pepper the living shit out of this.
Done.
That would be fun.
Done.
Ah, this. OK, c'est bon, c'est bon, c'est bon, c'est beau. On va mettre un petit peu de vinaigre de... OK, some white balsamic, because this is the best baller ingredient we can have.
That looks beautiful.
Yeah, it is beautiful. It's great. Then we're gonna add some salt,
Okay.
a bit of salt on it. And then,
Can I ask you a question then?
of course.
What do you think is the next trend in terms of restaurants. Now, I'm going to explain where my question comes from. I always feel that now you go to a restaurant and you need to share your plate.
That's so annoying, huh?
You know, we used to have our big plate in front of us and you could eat it all.
I hate this.
Now, what's happening? What's the next thing?
Sharing is good, but sharing.
Sharing is caring.
Okay, but
For some.
Okay,
that,
you know why, huh?
happens?
You know that's super complicated to do, let's say, appetizers, main courses, and desserts, because you have to have a certain timing. And it's like, when you have the shared plates, and there are certain places that do it super well. So I'm really careful about the way I'm handling my answer right now. But there are places that are like, okay, I'm going to take the order, and you're going to get it when I want to give it to you. So you have a certain time lapse. So it brings out a certain elasticity in the way you're going to get your food. Since everybody's sharing, you don't have the same level of precision. And this becomes a shit show after a while, because it's hard to match. It's hard to match wine. It's hard to create like a signature experience, and you get like a, that's it, eat, whatever. I don't really like this. I like it when I go to eat, let's say, Chinese food, or I go to Sumac and I eat Syrian food. This is amazing. Like, this was made to do that. But chefy food like that, I'm not sure.
So it's going to evolve? Or?
Evolve? I don't know. Is it going to stay? Of course it's going to stay, because it's easy and you don't need as much staff and to be as precise. But I think the way the industry is going to evolve is that there's going to be less and less middle-range restaurants. Let's say a bistro, a mom-and-pop bistro like I used to run at Petite Maison, isn't going to make the cut. Like, there's too many charges, there's too many attentions to detail that you need to make to... Est-ce que tu manges de la menthe?
Just a little mint.
T'as mangé de la menthe, hein? Ok, je vais checker les dents. And yeah, it's too... you can't make it. So whether it's going to be des comptoirs à patates frites, and some super like fast casual things or really standardized, or it's going to be the whole shebang like Pied Cochon or Joe Beef, where you're going to have like a installation artistique éphémère, like a statement, something that's very, very driven, and a moment and a time and a place, like something that you're going to be ready to pay for. Because the name of the game is, why are we selling chicken breasts at $18 in a white cloth restaurants for a plate? And people are thinking it's expensive, so we're not looking at the right clientele. And then they go at Rebuchon, which is great, or other places, and they spend $300 a head and they're happy about it. Or they come at your place and they're pissed about the fact that it's costing them $75 with tip a head with wine, and then they brag about the fact that they went at Le Bernardin and costed them $1,500 for two, you know? So why can't you fucking spend this money in Montreal, Madame, Monsieur? You know? That's my life.
Don't get mad at me.
I'm
trying to eat my
just
way through
super
the
annoying.
city
It's
every
like,
single night.
How can you support a city and a food scene if you're ready to spend your money elsewhere, and you're not even confident enough about your food scene to spend in your restaurants?
Correct.
This is why I'm annoyed at this industry after a while.
I understand.
Danny, do you think, to build on that, do you think, because I met you through the fashion cluster, right? And
Mais,
you were giving a conference about the shortage of workforce and the parallel in the restaurant business and the fashion business.
Yep.
So what you're describing, you know, more high-end and just really affordable.
Yep.
Can we do other parallels with other industries? Is it just...
I think you know the answer, dear.
Well, yeah, but in addition to fashion, because we can think of the parallel between these two industries, but is this polarization, do we see that in other industries?
I think we see it in the food industry. It's starting right now. Like the phenomenons like Le Central, this food hall we're handling, is the mutation of a white cloth idea and the quality that's set up in a like a condominium state, you know, sharing the square footage, sharing their services, sharing the promotion, and then having all those nice little cells, little units that are promoting themselves with a massive promotion. You can cut cost and make yourself a decent life with that. I think the golden days of making yourself super rich with just one restaurant are behind us for most of the people. And you know, you look at the golden age in the 70s and the 80s before the MEV, and when everybody was handling fat rolls of cash and there wasn't really management looking for those taxes. I think that was a fun time to have a restaurant. But now, You know, it's okay. You make a living. It's fine, but
It's a passion project.
It's a passion project. It's a pet project.
Well, then what's the future then? What's the future of a chef going to a culinary school to learn the trade, to be a chef, and then if this, you know, if there's a shortage and there's all of these problems, that what is the future of a chef and a cook and a restaurant?
Well, the future is not bright, unfortunately, because if we can't pay our people, we won't get the best people. We're gonna get what's left over, and then you're gonna have people that are gonna open restaurants on a dream, or let's say you cook a really good apple pie and you open an apple pie shop out of passion. It's not your trade. You took money of your family and your friends, some love money, and then you open your own shop. And it takes a while, and you do it, and you put in the hours, and you learn, and it hurts, and you do it, and you do a year. You spend on the good design, you spend on the permits, you spend on the landlord, you put a mortgage on your house to get the lease, because you know most of the slumlords they take a piece of your house action on your lease, because that's the only thing that's worth something most of the time. And then after a while, you have your first year, you paid everybody, the architect, the engineer, the designer, you have the good chairs and all. And then it goes well, you have a little bump on the promotion, everybody comes, all your friend comes, you give freebies, oh yeah, la, 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 have a pie, have this, have that. And then after a while, nobody comes anymore. And then you work, and then most of your rich friends that were coming to support you, they feel miserable for you, and they don't come anymore. And they look at you and they say, oh, poor Heidi, she works all the time, she's stuck in this place, I feel sad for her. And then you get fucked another time. And then after a while, you get into year 2. And then you're looking for more finance. And then you get into year 3, you close down, you give the keys to your landlord, and then he flips it to some other good soul.
And it starts up all over again.
It's
Another
a wonderful
broken dream.
industry. Yeah, that's it. It's a wonderful industry. So the name of the game is buying buildings.
No, but my question is then, what is the solution? What's the solution?
I'm sorry, it's super romantic. Huh?
I want a solution though.
I'm buying buildings.
What's
Who
the
has a
solution?
building?
How could the industry stay relevant? How can the industry grow and prosper then? If
Well,
you had the answer.
The answer is paying more for what you eat. But if the market can handle it, well, it's a dying idea. Let's say you want to be a musician. You go to school and to learn guitar. Are you going to become a rock star?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you want it. La la la. You play well. You have talent. La 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 la. Ça va bien. Ça va bien. Are you going to have the certainty of becoming a rock star? I don't think so. There are few people that can actually get there. And I think sometimes restaurants or this business is like a lottery or a certain time and place. Let's say you have your prime at a certain age and then your prime goes away and you fade away and there's another young person that comes in. I think the industry is like that right now. It's fun, endives are fun, but apples are even more fun.
I love apples, especially
Apples are
coming off
great.
of that sad apple pie story.
Yeah, I know. Piece of the action.
Anybody else have a question? Okay.
So I would have a follow-up question.
Oh, geez, you're very
Go,
busy,
you
Anna.
go,
I
Anna.
love it.
Not as busy as Danny.
Nobody is.
So, do we have a model where there's more sustainability elsewhere in the world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the fast casual movement is a good refuge for people like me. And let's say people that are good with their trade, are skilled tradesmen or tradeswomen. And, you know, I think there's two opportunities for smart people. Either you clean up somebody else's mess and you make a piece out of that, out of consulting, or let's say you join forces with a group with means and you put your creative action into the means of this group. So let's say you take a huge unit like a chain. Like let's say Joe McCree did this with Houston's. You know, and it was a very smart move because they had the means and he did a wonderful project. You know, and it lasted the time it lasted. This guy is a guy I admire. He had the balls to do it. And in our industry also, it's funny because when you turn corporate, you become a bit of a scumbag.
A sellout.
A sellout. It's funny because who the fuck are you to call me a sellout, you know?
Right, you have
To a
to
certain part,
diversify your portfolio.
You're slashed, you're poor, and you have a miserable life, and I'm a sellout? I'm sorry, okay, cool, whatever. You know? At a certain point, grow up and make a business out of it. I think so. That's. I hope that's a good answer.
So, if I told you that tomorrow you were going to the electric chair for
Nice.
something you did
I could get.
possibly
I could
this
get the
evening,
curls I was dreaming about. You know.
what would be your last meal?
You know what? I was asked this fun question by the people at Caribou. Caribou is an amazing magazine in French. It's like the indie version of Bon Appétit.
Okay.
You know, the very indie and Quebec grassroots things.
Okay.
And I called on for the perfect burger. I have this passion for the burger. And you know what? I'm going to serve you guys a salad, and then I'm going to call you the burger I dream of.
Okay. Okay.
So I have this fun salad right here. You are going to finish it off with Parmesan. Okay,
Back
so you're
to
going to put a hell of a cloud of Parmesan on top.
Okay.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So this is your cue. You can
Oh,
start.
okay. Sorry. I was too busy mesmerized by
Mesmerized.
the beauty.
of those vegetables.
You have a way with salad. You really do. This is the second time I've seen you prepare salad, and it's magic.
I like salads, you know.
You can tell you love it because you put so much love into it. If you saw my salads, you'd be.
I'm sure your salads are full of love. Eh? Come on.
That's the least amount of love is my salads. I put a lot of love in the food, the next part, but this is like a masterpiece, what you've done.
You know, salads are, when you make them well, they're fun and you want to eat them.
I mean, maybe my kids will call in and say that I do make a nice salad, but my feeling is they say I really dropped the ball with that one.
You know what?
Uncle Danny is going to come over and do the salads now.
Beggars can be choosers, as they say. Hein? Exactement.
You should just be happy that
Soyez
there's
polis,
something.
les enfants. Là. Hein? Respectez votre maman qui vous fait des belles salades.
Exactement. What would you do if your girls wanted to be a chef and follow in your footsteps? What would you tell them?
You know, I'm super afraid because my smaller one, Jeanne, she has it. I see it.
Oh,
The fire is in there.
yep.
She's fast. She gets it.
Yeah.
She's like a very aggressive toddler, and which is I mean it in the best of ways.
Yes.
And yeah, she has it, and she likes to cook. She's good with a knife, and she tastes well. And it's funny because she goes to preschool right now, and her teacher just told us, well, she has a very elaborate culinary vocabulary. Huh? She was talking about purée de céleri rave and stuff in her lunch. And bon, faites circuler, s'il vous plaît.
Am I a good wait staff?
Ah, you have game, hein?
Oh, yeah.
Tiens, 1, 2, 3, 4, parfait, mesdames.
Are we
appétit.
missing? Oh, you need forks? Such a demanding live audience. Jeez.
That's harsh.
So difficult to find good help.
Et les garçons? Et les filles? Qu'est-ce que ça se passe? Ah, ça va en prendre une pour Heidi, par exemple. Yeah, it's fresh. It's something I really like. Like the endives are one of my favorite vegetables, so. Endives, apples,
You're welcome.
olive oil, vinegar, like onions, parsley, Parmesan walnuts, white balsamic. It could be cider also.
Oh, hold on.
And mint.
Not even. Parsley.
Oh, we're making one more salad.
Yeah, we're making beet tartare.
Oh.
Yeah, not beef tartare, but beet tartare. You know, I'm a bit cheeky like that.
Are you vegetarian?
Of course not. I eat huge steaks.
Okay, I was just like.
You know, I have breakfast with pizza, pepperoni pizza. You know,
Okay, monsieur. I was just
I'm a
making
slob.
sure.
But you know what? When I think of cooking, most of the time vegetables pop up because it's a good challenge. You know, if you can make a beetroot shine, you are a good chef. And you know what? We're talking about the evolution of the industry. There's this thing where before you were going to the restaurant, you were choosing your protein with your sauce, and the vegetables were an afterthought. But now it's the vegetable garnish that is going to define the actual character of the plate. So, and this is a mind frame most of the good chefs have right now. And then there's this other step where you cross and you stop actually thinking about the meat. You know, the meat becomes an afterthought. And then the meat becomes a part of the seasoning of your vegetables. And that's the fun part. And you know, you see it, it's David Chang, which is a world-acclaimed chef in New York City, that started to talk about this Asian influence in the fact of having the meat as a seasoning. Where, the way you see it in, let's say, mapo tofu, or you see it in a chow mein, you know, certain little components that add flavor, not is the flavor. I like it. I think it's fun. And I think it's opening a whole new dimension on
Healthy eating and lifestyle.
Yeah, health. I like health, don't get me wrong, but it's not my main priority.
Good.
I think about fun.
Okay.
So the whole head of cauliflower drenched in butter and crisped up, you know, with a soft-boiled egg and a bit of capers and almonds, and I'm like, oh, sounds like a party.
I hear you.
That's cool. Okay, the good old-fashioned grater. Beets. I've bought some sous vide beets, sous vide AKA in the bag, already cooked. No shame. No shaming here. I'm grating them like let's say you would chop some fresh meat, and I use the beet not as a mock meat, but the fact that it holds well, it has a great texture, it's fun, it's sweet, and you know who needs another beet salad with goat's cheese? You know,
Right.
who needs that?
Yeah, something different.
Yeah, give us a break, you know.
It also, it's like bloody like meat.
Yeah, no,
So
this
it's
is just
almost as
this
if-
is one of my fingernails. Sorry.
Okay, so your last meal is a burger?
Yeah, it's a burger. You
It's
know
not
what?
that exciting.
I'm really fond of this outdoor kitchen utensil called la plancha, and it's a cast iron plaque with an enamel coating that doesn't stick. It's super powerful, and I'm a big fan of smash burgers. You know, in the United States, most of the time when you call for a burger, they ask you if you want a certain degree of cooking. So if you want it medium well, rare, whatever, just seared. And this all comes from the fact that you can actually have your meat blends. So I started to do research in great places like, let's say, Balthazar, Minetta Tavern, and great places when in New York City you have great burgers. And then the Shake Shack came. Shake Shack, which is like the home of the smash burgers. And the way they were like searing and having this beautiful crust and using some chuck, like a piece of the shoulder, some brisket, some short rib.
Little tush.
A little tush here and there, doesn't hurt. After all, I'm gonna put another one. And that's it. The smash burger, especially in La Plancha, is you smash it, you sear it, and you leave it raw at the center. And it's funny because in our family we cook a lot, and my brother-in-law is a big fan of cooking also, and he has all the cool stuff and equipment. And once I decided to buy a whole strip loin from my meat purveyors, and when you buy a strip loin in a bag, it weighs about 25 pounds.
Like
you
a
know?
little person.
Like a little person, it's like a very flat toddler with a lot of blood. And bon appetit!
Sorry,
You're having
we're
salad, man.
we're
You're
getting
okay.
dark. Okay, let's stay in the light. We're staying in the light. Yes,
Stay in the light.
stay in the light.
Halloween, come on.
Okay. Well, no, it was canceled.
It was cancelled. I know. Rain. It's so dangerous. And let's me clean this mess. So I was processing the strip loin, and there's a lot of fat on the strip loin.
Okay.
And I was cutting steaks and removing like excess meat and all that. And this was this ridiculous amount of fat, like 50-50, 50 meat, 50 fat. And we decided to cook with it anyways. So I made some patties. I added on some raw onions, some parsley, salt and pepper, do a mix, and just sear it on la plancha, just raw, and it was decadent. Like just in a bun, not even any source of seasoning whatsoever. Everybody lost their minds on it. We were like having a party, and I was just cooking those burgers and giving them away. The neighbors were pulling their head off the actual fence. They were like, "What's going on?" Well, this is going on, hon. Let's go.
Wow.
Giving out burgers was madness, and now it's a tradition.
I'll take it back. Maybe.
So you know what? If I'm gonna die, I think I want to die with this in my hand.
Okay, fine. I will allow for that.
Would you indulge in
monsieur.
some pepper right there?
So if I gave you a wallet filled with endless amounts of money,
Yeah.
where would you
Do
go
you have
and
my
eat?
wallet?
Yes,
my wallet?
actually, that's why I thought of this question. So
wait.
where would you go and eat with endless amounts of money? Sky's the limit. Where in Montreal do you want to go and eat for the night?
I don't know because I don't really go in places where you go crazy. I really like Luciano's. Like he's a good friend of mine, Luciano de Radio. It's a trattoria on Saint-Zotique. I'm not really answering your question, but I'm answering in a way that, you know, the worst we could do, my girlfriend and I, is go to Le Petit Mousseau, have the $85 can of caviar, And for us, it's not even balling. It's just we really like caviar, and it's practically at the cost. And this is the furthest we're gonna go. Especially since I don't drink anymore. Can you calculate just the economies I'm making right now?
Yeah.
You know, all those random 150 bottles of Merceau for nothing.
You're
Tuesday
living
night.
life right now.
You know what? I'm saving a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a good retirement party.
Listen, I would always rather eat than drink.
Yeah.
Always.
Well, okay.
Okay, so
Good to know.
so the answer to the question is really that you're not going to go crazy and indulgent and hedonistic. You're just going to go somewhere simple and have a beautiful meal.
Yeah, and you know what? Sometimes I rather cook myself. Okay, I'm gonna tell you something that I don't really tell. There's not a lot of people that can cook for me.
Oh.
Like, it's not that I have
Fancy schmancy?
not fancy schmancy, but I'm not OCD or anything. But you know, there's things that I just don't want to eat. And you know, I'm gonna eat it. Let's say I go somewhere, I'm gonna eat. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna criticize. I'm super happy that somebody cooks me a meal. But if I have the choice, or it's my money, or it's me going out, I would rather go to a place I really love and eat this thing I really enjoyed, than to eat a bad creation of an overambitious young stupid chef like I was.
Okay.
You know.
Okay, fair enough.
So I would rather have the cacio and pepe again.
Fine.
Yeah.
Deal.
Yeah. Don't you?
Absolutely.
Hein? Bon.
Okay.
C'est plate, mais c'est ça. Toi, tu me trouves divertissant, je t'ai vu. C'est pour ça que moi, je suis là, puis toi, t'es là.
I would take anybody cooking for me any day.
Okay. The beetroot, some breadcrumbs. Some breadcrumbs, some oil, did you put some pepper?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, did you put a lot of
I
pepper?
got so nervous.
Yeah. And then I'm going to add some salt. I add some breadcrumbs and oil so we can actually soak up the juices of the beetroot. I'm a big fan of Syrian and Lebanese cuisine. You know, since I grew up in Laval, so there's Adonises around us since forever. And we used to go there and buy some muhammara, which is like a puree of walnuts and bell pepper and pomegranate. And it always was fascinating to me, because it was like a whole new dimension of we're actually not eating meat. It's powerful, it's in your face, it's delicious, and it's fun.
Okay.
And this is my inspiration of the muhammara. So the way you do a good muhammara, most of the time, is to crush some nuts and add a bit of oil and a bit of breadcrumbs to soak up the juices of the pepper that were well roasted.
Okay.
For us in here, instead of adding some pomegranate, we're going to add some cranberries. And look at this. This is fun, because this is a dried cranberry. Very random.
Okay.
It's there.
Okay.
It's a cranberry. It used to be a cranberry. But now I soaked it in hot water, and we removed some of the sugar, and there's just the tartness that's there. There's just the tartness that's there. That was a tough one. That was a tough one.
Is there anything in my teeth?
No, t'es correct. Oh no, you have something actually. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I had a feeling. I felt it.
I know it's mint, so it's okay.
It's
no?
mint.
It's not. It's tartness. Yeah, it's starting. I'm sorry. So we're gonna add the cranberry, and you know it's like a pirate. You don't see it, and then it's gonna hop on your mouth, and what's going on there? Are you paranoid? Heidi, come back.
I just had to see that there wasn't mint in my
teeth. What's going on here?
I can't have mint in my teeth. I'm a dentist's daughter. I need to have clean teeth.
Okay, yeah, you have standards. I respect that.
Yes, that's it. That's all I ask.
Okay, onions. Real amount of onions. Could you please stir? I would be really appreciative of that.
Yes, yes.
And then we have some sunflower seeds.
Ooh. I like that.
HD.
Crunch.
Ooh, crunch. So you stir the living hell out of it, and there's some mint.
I love where this is going, chef.
You know, it's funny because people, they add mint like it's like a precious garnish, but mint, you have to add a buttload to make it work for you.
I love it.
And it's funny because mint took over my backyard this summer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can you send it over to mine after?
Well, it passed.
It's gone.
Yeah, it's too cold right now. It went.
Oh, that's something I have a question.
Yeah.
What can I do in my kitchen? Can I grow herbs all winter long, or just keep them alive? I don't mean grow in my kitchen. I mean, what would be the best herb to have in my kitchen now, starting now?
Are you good with plants? in general?
I have a bit of a purple thumb.
Okay, well,
Like, no.
that could be a
Like
part of the
bad
answer.
one. Give me
The
something
one that
easy.
had a diameter on it? Or?
I kill most plants, so give me something
Okay.
like everybody at home who wants 2 things to have in their kitchen of fresh herbs. What's the easiest thing to maintain and have?
I think in the winter, since the plants are in a sleeping bear mode, well, there's so much you can do with a plant of basil. But if you have the proper light and you take care of it and
Sing to
it has
it.
a good environment,
Yes.
you could do something. But you know what? It's a pain in the ass.
So forget it.
But it's not forget it, but
Have you come over? You do it?
Yeah, I come there and I do the thing. You should have a little. Okay, we're gonna do the taste process.
Okay. I'm not.
So when you cook,
Yes.
you have to taste. Because
Can it be a lot or a little?
It could be. I would consider doing what you want. It's missing. Okay. So now we're starting, but it's not there yet. There. Okay. A bit of baller vinegar right there.
No, you're right. I
Okay.
needed that.
Okay. We're gonna add on some mustard. For real? Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, my dress is by James. I
No,
can't
it's
get
okay.
all mustard.
We had this
in-
rim protecting us.
Okay. Note, the spoon I took from is over here.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought.
This is harissa.
Ma pack won't come. Le Mapac va pas arriver.
What
Is
an
this
attack, huh?
toothpaste?
Yeah, this is Tunisian toothpaste. It's called harissa.
A little toothpaste?
Yeah, Tunisian toothpaste.
Yes,
It's amazing.
yes.
Yeah. So yeah, you add this on a horseback toothbrush, and it's amazing. You can go to the desert on that idea.
Okay, mix.
Okay, let's put on some salt in the mix.
Okay.
Ok, shit. Moi, je prends du sel cachère, hein. Arrêtez, le jugement, là. Come on, c'est une grosse quantité,
Because
ça.
women are only worrying about the puffy
Ouais.
puffies the next day.
C'est mon sel.
The puffies, right?
You live a very, very, very safe life, madame.
Don't worry, the puffy puffies will not be at all a
The
problem.
puffy puffies are saying, hi, how's it going?
Okay, can I
Okay.
try?
Yeah, you should try it now.
Okay, that's
I have
there.
a very clean spoon right now.
Oh, I have a clean.
Clean as a whistle. It's getting there, huh?
How is it?
A bit more salt.
A bit more salt?
It could be an insult. Okay, it's getting there. I think it lacks acidity. You can feel the Tunisian toothpaste. Huh?
That's a little bite on the back of my tongue right
Yeah,
now.
that's it. It's coming back at you. It's biting you on
I
the
like that.
on the back. A bit more
I think
acidity.
it's fantastic.
It's getting there. I would
fussy little-
really appreciate some microplane action on this of your part.
Zesty?
Zesty, you could zest
Jeez.
the living skedaddle out of them. That would be nice. Okay, and for me, I'm gonna go Danger Dan, and we're gonna use some radishes.
I love.
You know, the radish is an underdog in the kitchen. You
I
know,
agree.
And it's fun because it has some spunk.
Like me.
Just like you. That's it. And I really like to do little shapes like that with the mandolin because you can hide something under
I don't know
the
what do you
actual
mean.
the actual shape. You know, let's say you're a bit cheap and you want to do a beet tartare. Well, you can make it nice and hide it under the nice little rounds of radishes. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have faith in you, huh? I have faith in you.
First of all, it really, this is killing my hand.
Yeah?
This is
Did you
very.
change hands? No?
It's hard. I can't.
Can't
don't
focus.
know why I
breathe,
keep
breathe
getting-
in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out.
Well, this is what I mean. When I think about you chefs doing this, like 5,000 limes standing in one place and not giving up.
You know, this thing here I have a relationship with. You know, the first year of Montreal en Lumière, there was Charlie Trotter, this great chef from
Yes, the cookbook.
Chicago, that came in, and my job was slicing truffles with my hand, and I was so nervous, and he was there at the bar, standing right there where Ezra is with his Chiquita 11 iPhone, and he was yelling at us that we weren't fast enough, and he was a bit sloshed, drinking way too many glasses of Chablis, and he was like, "Ah," and I was nervous, and I sliced my whole hand like that. And I didn't want to go out the line because it was the time of my life. So I took a glove, and I taped it with masking tape. And between table runs, I was emptying the glove and coming back and putting a new glove.
Danny.
So this is the last time I cut myself. So wish me luck.
But this is what I mean. This story.
So stop complaining.
I know. I'm not
You're
gonna.
not, you're not hurting for
I
real,
know.
woman.
That's what I'm saying. I'm such a wimp. But what I need to say is that this is what's fascinating to me: is that your passion and desire outweighs pain, blood, and flesh.
That's it.
That's what I just don't understand.
Yeah, I don't think it's rational. Do you like cumin?
Yeah.
I hope so.
I do. I thought it was cumin.
Cumin.
Is it cumin?
Yeah, very much so. Cumin is delicious.
I smell, it's a beautiful smell actually. Am I done?
Yeah, you're done. Okay,
Oh, I
let's put
thought I
some.
cut myself, but it was the beets.
Yeah, we're doing super
You're
well.
giving me the beets.
We are doing super well.
Okay.
It's getting deeper and deeper, I think.
Hey,
Okay, I have some
exciting
cute
things.
looking garlic. I'm gonna be the microplant handler, okay? So another fun way to use garlic is to grate it through this little
Or wear it around your neck to
with
keep
the
away.
pork chop to attract some dogs to play with you.
I have a question.
Oh,
about
yeah.
garlic, and it's
Yes,
not because
Anna.
I'm Romanian.
No. Vampires, huh? Again?
There's some bad tasting garlic on the market right now.
Oh yeah?
It doesn't taste like good garlic. It tastes like.
Now you have to buy the good garlic.
Okay, so what's the good? Yes. Okay, so if you just go to your, yes, I'm sure this is fine.
Yeah, but you have to look for garlic that's from Quebec or from Canada.
Exactly, right? So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Chinese garlic, not to name a specific country.
You don't touch the Chinese
You
garlic.
don't, right?
No.
Not to name, you just did. Oh.
Inform the
I
viewers.
talked about midgets earlier on. So
All right, we're all going to hell in a
Anna is
handbasket.
off the hook. She's okay.
So, Chef Danny St Pierre cooking at the Sub-Zero Test Kitchen,
Oh, thanks, brother.
live with
amazing.
Heidi Small Beyond the Plate. This is an epic
Wait.
episode. We really went beyond the plate. I even have a little cut.
Yeah,
I'm not going to touch the food anymore. It's so tiny, but it's there.
What a great alibi you've got there, huh? Okay, spread them plates, please.
I promise you, nobody will be, I don't know.
Having some blood pudding right now.
No, it's just a
Oh,
little
it's okay.
paper cut.
I'm gonna add on some lime in there just for the funk of it.
Okay.
And that's the oldest kitchen joke ever.
I missed it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I get you?
No. No, I love lime juice squirting
Yeah, I
in
know.
my eye.
It's
It's the best.
keeps you focused.
It keeps me focused.
I'm trying to manage my
Control
own
the,
strength. The flow.
You don't even know your own strength.
I know. I'm like
This looks beautiful.
I'm like the poorest person Hercules on the kitchen.
Can we show everybody how
Yeah.
beautiful it looks inside?
Yeah, I'm just gonna even it out. Hey, it smells nice, huh?
I still have lime juice running down my
Yeah.
arm. But
Check it out. Ooh, ruby. Okay. So
what do I do?
Heidi,
Yes.
toi, you
Yes.
are gonna do. You're gonna take some radishes.
Oh.
Okay.
Yes.
And you're gonna take radishes like that,
Yeah.
and you're just gonna hide the misery. Here.
Okay. That
Yeah.
is beautiful.
That's a cute looking
That's
little
a
thing, huh?
great little trickaroo.
Yeah, and you just stack it on top like that with
Okay,
with
I think I
fun
can handle
and
it.
passion. And then when it's done, we're just gonna add a little dollop of oil, and that's it.
Ladies, this is
It's not bad, huh?
this is lovely.
Okay, so since we're
And those are my Beyond the Plate colors. Did you do that on purpose?
yeah,
It's
I
so on brand.
I caught the memo. Ezra was very specific.
Yeah, it's very on
And,
brand. Even your radishes look like the insignia for Beyond the Plate.
Everything is in everything,
I'm telling you,
as
this
Raoul Duguay says.
is really
And
okay.
yeah, Raoul Duguay est là.
Do you ever listen to music when you cook, or do you like quiet?
No, I don't really. I'm not good with quiet. I like music.
Okay.
I'm really stuck in this post-punk moment of the Smiths and Morrissey
Zaza.
and the Talking Heads. I'm kind of stuck in there for a couple of years.
Okay.
I go everywhere. I'm a big fan of music.
Okay.
A lot of jazz, a lot of classical,
Okay.
a lot of hip hop also. Like I just woke up to Mac Miller. Can you imagine? An old fuck like me.
You're
And you know what? It's brilliant. I was brought on hip hop because I come from Laval and that's the way it is.
You're
huh?
very gangster, Danny.
I'm not gangster, but
Really
yeah,
gangster.
I'm savvy.
Do you know how to hotwire a car if you had to?
No,
Could we make a quick getaway?
Nah, we can get a quick getaway. That's for sure. Pépin de citrouille.
Because it's Halloween.
No, because it's delicious. Because it's almost Hanukkah. No, it's not far from here. It's getting there. We're crossing. I can see the candles from afar.
Yes, yes. This is
fun. Huh?
this is really fun.
I have some pita bread also.
How do you get inspired?
Well, I think about what I want to eat. I really, for me, cooking was a gateway to travel. Because, the first time I took a plane, I was 21 years old. And I went to work in France, not knowing or understanding what was a cultural differentiation, And for me, learning about the travels before that was by dishes from regions. Because old school Italian and French cooking is all about regional cooking. So let's say you learn about when you cook in the Loire region, you learn about cooking with drinking Sancerre, cooking with goat's cheese, asparagus, and you have all this repertoire that brings a sense of time and place. So for me, I really like to keep it traditional, to keep the sense of a terroir and the fact that people are doing this for the past 200, 300, 500 years, and there's a reason for that. And it's just not about, there's a reason why it works. There's a reason why Sancerre and goat's cheese and asparagus, they go well together. It's time tested. So this is what's inspiring me. And as I grow older in my craft, I need less and less ingredients. Let's say this is a fun appetizer for me. The flavors are bold, but it's like 2 main ingredients, and the rest are just little components that are not getting in the way.
I see.
So that's what gets my kicks on.
It's a full meal.
For some.
Well, it is. I
And
thought
some
you were,
countries, but not for me.
you girls were hungry, so maybe just a little kick of pepper on top, and then you go, madame. Pa 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 pa. Okay, it's done.
Bravo.
Bravo, Chef Danny St Pierre.
Mesdames et messieurs.
Hi.
Bon, je vais étirer mon bras. Tiens, la grosse affaire.
Michelle from New Orleans. So, Chef Danny St Pierre, I want to take a moment to thank you so much.
That was fun,
I mean, we have done so much work together. You have proven to be not just part of the Beyond the Plate series, but I got a friend.
Yay! Thank you.
Like, I really, really want you to know that I
Thank
feel
you.
so lucky that you came into my life. You are such a gift that keeps giving, I just think that I've learned everything, and then I get you again. You came into a brilliant night. You didn't even bat an eye. You were like, what can I do? Where can I go?
Yeah, well,
You've just been a dynamo, and every single thing that you talked about back there, about your life and your kitchen climb, it exudes out of you. It is who you are. You are so much more than a man at a stove. You give love and life to everybody that you come into contact with. Thank you for being part of the Beyond the Plate series.
Thank you, Heidi. Thank you. I gained a friend also. And I'm really proud to be a part of this series, and I wish you the best of luck in this wonderful endeavor. And thank you for giving us, chefs and people from the trade, a platform to shine and to tell another narrative. So thanks. Thank you. Mesdames, bon appétit.
Woo! Thank you, girls, for your live studio audience participation. And thank you to my team. Thank you, everybody, for watching Beyond the Plate Live podcast. I've never done this before. This is wild and amazing. Thank you, David Amiel. Sub-Zero Wolf Cove, you are my savior. You are my
Wolf
everything,
Cove.
your support. Every single person should just pray one day to have all of these beautiful things in their kitchen.
What? We're not leaving with it?
Yes.
What is this shit?
Yes.
What's going on?
Thank
Get
you.
the trucks in.
Thank you,
Get the fucking up.
everybody.